Good morning. Welcome to Member Focus Monday. I'm Christina Schaefer, Social Media Manager with HAR. I am joined this morning by Rania Mankarias. Welcome.
Thank you.
So Rania is the CEO of Crime Stoppers, and we're going to talk to her all about that in just a moment. I do want to mention before we get started, today's Member Focus Monday is sponsored by Energy Ogre. Energy Ogre is the best referral you'll ever make. And actually, their CEO, Justin Bradshaw, is joining us a little bit later. So after we're done speaking with Rania, we'll speak with him about some great referral options they have for realtors. So Rania, welcome. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
And I'm glad you made it through the weather.
Oh yeah, easy peasy.
So if we could just start out, if you could just introduce yourself to our members.
Yeah, I'm Rania Mankarias. I'm CEO of Crime Stoppers of Houston, a proud Houstonian going on 15 years now, a mom of 3, and I love what I do.
Oh, that's awesome. So before you were in Houston, where did you live?
So I'm a Boston native. I was born and raised in Boston. I've been called a damn Yankee once or twice, which was like a shock when I moved here. I was like, what? And I slowly got my bearings. But I always talk about the fact that when I moved to Houston, I literally knew nothing about the city, about the makeup, about anything. And I was on HAR all day. I mean, you'd open my screen and it would be like har.com. I'm like, yep, okay, let's keep resuming our scroll. And I learned about like the communities, the city, all through HAR.
Well,
surprisingly,
love to hear that.
It was my entree to the city.
There you go. And hopefully you found a great realtor on there as well.
Yeah, we did. We found everything through it and we've loved it. And I've remained, loyal to HAR. I'm always on there. My husband's like, are we moving again? I'm like, no, I'm just seeing what's going on.
Just window shopping,
yes,
right?
just window. And then it's actually like new homes. I'm like, look at how they did their kitchen. Like, I just love
get some inspiration,
the platform.
right?
I do. I love it.
We're on it too, and I work here.
Yeah.
So I do want to ask, you said you're a mom of 3.
Yeah.
And you're in public safety. Can you tell me about that? Why?
It's random. It's so random. And so I grew up in Boston, as I said. I have a law degree and I did a master's degree in marriage and family therapy. And I've always loved sort of the study of people and how they integrate and what makes them happy and healthy, what makes them safe, what makes them vulnerable. And I never knew how I was going to use that. And when I moved to Houston and I was looking, am I going to practice as an attorney? What am I going to do? A friend of mine in New York said, you really need to look in the nonprofit sector. And I was like, okay, I will, that's fine. And I saw this organization called Crime Stoppers of Houston, which I was like, what is that? I have no idea what this is. They were looking for a lawyer with marketing and media experience. And I was like, okay, I'll go interview. I have no idea what this is. But as I went, and I was talking to the previous executive director, and she started to talk about the mission and to solve and prevent crime and what it meant, it sort of brought everything together for me. Everybody wants to live their best life. They want to be able to run in the park. They want to be able to go shopping. They want to be able to take their kids out. They want to do online stuff. They just want to be able to live their best lives, but we all want to be able to do it safely. And as I sort of, was growing in my marriage and had one child, second child, third child, which was a killer, I was like, the notion of public safety started to mean more and more and more. And so it was odd because people would say, wait a minute, why are you doing something related? Like, what? You're not a police officer.
Right.
And I'd say, look, I've seen people from all walks of life, from literally coast to coast, of all ages, and if they're hit with like a health issue or like a severe public safety issue, they're brought to their knees. You can survive a layoff. You can survive if you broke up in a relationship, not making the team you wanted to make. But if you're struck with a health issue or a public safety issue, it changes your life fully. And I can't do much about the health side, but I liked the notion of diving into the public safety side and figuring out how we could either solve crimes or educate people to remain safe proactively. Because Houston's where I'm raising my kids and where I live and work and play, and so I wanted it to be the best city it could be.
Oh, that's wonderful to hear, and that's very inspiring.
Oh,
thank you for sharing that.
Thank you.
So tell us about Crime Stoppers. What does Crime Stoppers do?
Most people have no idea. Everybody's heard the number, 713-222-TIPS. I mean, everybody's heard the number, but you're like, well, okay, that's great, but I'm never really going to be a tipster, so I'm not sure how it relates to me. Our mission is to solve and prevent crime, and we do it in partnership with citizens, media, and law enforcement. And that phone number is the most famous number, in terms of all Crime Stoppers worldwide. But, you hear it on the news every day.
Right.
But we do do so much more than that. We are, when you solve and prevent a crime, for the longest time it was, if we're looking for John Smith and we found John Smith through the tip line, we've solved and we've prevented a crime because John Smith can no longer reoffend.
Right.
But we started to see the solve and prevent as something deeper about, educating women and men, kids, etc., on what jugging is, or how to properly protect your home from maybe a home invasion. Walking to school, things you need to know. When your kids are online, what are tips and tricks and tactics that predators use to gain access to your children? School safety, surviving school shootings. I mean, we started to look at every possible thing you could think of and break it down into what do I need to know to stay safe proactively, not to be afraid. You go out, you do everything, you live your life, you go to school, you ride your bikes, you play, you do everything. But we've got to start being public safety minded in the way we do it. And Crime Stoppers is really taking the forefront on creating that public safety narrative, resources, platform, education, etc.
Okay. So what is jugging?
Oh, jugging. Okay. So, there's two things I always talk about, sliders and jugging. But jugging is when you go to the bank, for example, and you've taken out cash and you go back to your car or whatever, and people watch you and wait for an opportunity to swipe the cash you've just taken. We talk about sliders, and people are like those mini burgers.
Yeah.
I love them. But we're not talking about burgers.
Okay.
It's like women, and you know about it. It's like going to the gas station and leaving your purse out, and somebody kind of slides their car up, steals your purse while you're pumping gas. So if you just know that happens, you can change your behavior a little bit to protect yourself from it.
Very good. So the tip line, it's not all you guys do, but how does the tip line work?
Yeah, and I'll just kind of summarize it. We have 3 major programs: tip line program, Safe Community, and Safe Schools. Our Safe School program is huge. It's now the Safe School Institute, and I'll share more about that with you in a minute. But the tip line program, you're truly anonymous. You call in. You can text, you can use our mobile app to send your tip in, you can use our website, and you are anonymous from the moment you make contact with us to the moment you drive off into the sunset with your cash reward. We've never ever known who you are. You use a code name, code words, you give the information that we need or we're extracting from you to solve the crime, and we'll tell you, call us back, and we'll let you know if the information's good or if you're going to be eligible for a reward, and it works as long as you call us back. If you don't call, we can never reach you. And that tip line program has helped law enforcement extract information from the community and solve almost 40,000 felony cases.
Wow.
So, and we just count one case. Sometimes you solve a crime, you've solved that one case, and law enforcement's gone on to solve 10 other cases from it. But we just count them one. So it's been a really robust, it's the most successful tip line in the country. And so we're very, very proud of it.
Absolutely. So you guys are a nonprofit.
Yes.
So where do the funds come from?
It is why I have wrinkles and gray hair, because in addition to doing the programming through our, the tip line, Safe Community, Safe School, we also have to raise our funds. It's individuals, corporate partners, foundations, grants. And it's a lot, because for a lot of people say, like, aren't you a part of the police department? Why are you soliciting funds or or aren't you, a line item on the city budget? We're not. We're regular 501c3. So it's me and our development team knocking down doors.
Yeah, there you go. I just want to pause for a moment to remind everyone that today's Member Focus Monday is sponsored by Energy Ogre, and we'll hear more from them later. Also, if you have questions for Rania about Crime Stoppers, type them into the comments, and we'll get to those questions in just a moment. So I know you guys work hard over there. What are some big wins that you've had recently?
A really big win kind of goes in an area of the work we do that people don't realize. So we do a lot of advocacy work. We do a lot of research and work on animal cruelty, on domestic violence, teen dating violence, again, cyber safety, human trafficking. We do a lot of work on it so that we can keep our kids and our communities, the elderly, adults, children, animals safe proactively. But we've really taken on a task that no one else in the country has been talking about, which is the safety of children while at camp. And we've discovered through working with a family whose son was victimized at a prominent Texas camp that there's really this glaring oversight in the legal system. I mean, in the laws, there's really no avenue to protect children at camp because camps are usually private entities. So we've launched a multi-year study, found that across the country there are over 800 cases of kids that have been sexually assaulted at a camp. And wonderful camps, great places that we want our kids to go to. But there was just this gap in oversight that we needed to fix. So we've now started working legislatively, got laws passed in Texas just this session. The law was signed by Governor Abbott on June 16th. That is the first step towards protecting children. We're also working with people in Connecticut to change laws there. We've identified 18 states across the country where there are absolutely no requirements for background checks at all for the counselors caring for our kids, and that's a problem in today's world. And again, camps are so wonderful. We want our kids to continue to go to camp. We just want them to be safe. So that's a really, really big win. But we're always working on big cases. We've solved, a human trafficking case this last month, to some of, really, really significant school safety cases, keeping our kids proactively safe. We've been in the school since 1997, well before school safety was, a hot topic. And we've, worked with kids to solve about 2,000 school cases and remove almost 200 weapons from schools before they could be used against another student.
Right.
So.
I think, going to give my age here a little bit, but I think I first heard about Crime Stoppers in school.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, we've done so much in the schools, and people didn't realize, because for the longest time, because the tipster was anonymous, the program operated in a really quiet manner. And when I took over, it was like, wait a minute, the tipster's anonymous. The tipster will forever be anonymous. But the work we do should be showcased and pushed out.
Sure.
People need to know what it is and connect to it and know that we're their neighborhood public safety nonprofit.
Absolutely. So tell us a little bit more about the school program specifically.
Yeah, so again, it's been at the school since 1997. Originally, it was just making the tip line available to middle school age kids and high school age kids. Hey, look, you're the first line of intelligence. If you know a fight's going to break out, if you know there's gang activity or drug activity, you can call us and we will come and deal with it quietly and keep everybody safe. But it's really grown since then. I mean, you think of what kids are dealing with now, it's cyberbullying, it's cyber stalking, it's harassment, it's sexting, it is predatory behavior, it's human trafficking, luring of kids for human trafficking. It's just a different world. I mean, my own child was playing a game and somebody messaged her saying that they liked her and wanted to marry her, and she's 8 years old.
Oh my gosh.
And so this is no matter what game, no matter what platform,
Right.
We're militant about our security settings and et cetera, and it's still infiltrated. So we are constantly having discussions. We're in the schools, we're in every school that will have us. It's always free, kindergarten to 12th grade. And we bring curriculum in, we talk to the kids. We have 16 different presentations that we can do. And as I said, the topics range drastically. But we want to offer these kids information they need to stay safe proactively. And again, that program's been very successful. It's solved 2,000 school cases, removed almost 200 weapons. Actually, I think we're way beyond that. Before those weapons could be used against a student, which is huge. Traditionally, we've only been in the Houston area. After Santa Fe, we've worked with Governor Abbott and the state to replicate our program statewide, because it's not fair that our program stays just within Houston. It needs to be across the state. So we're deep into a statewide training about 137 organizations across the state on our program, all for free, because we want to make sure that all kids in all schools are safe at all times.
That's amazing. So you said you guys have 16 different programs that you can do at the schools. How do the schools arrange that?
They can call us at 713-521-4600, and we'll talk with them about what their needs are. Some will say bullying, some will say human trafficking, some will say cyber safety, some may say teen dating violence.
Yeah, is that free for the schools to do?
Always free.
Oh, that's amazing.
We never ever charge, because we don't want a school to say, we love it, but we can't afford it.
Sure.
So, and we don't want some schools to pay and other schools don't.
Right.
So it's one of our most, it's a very well-funded program because people see the need for it.
The value.
Especially now. I mean, we had one boy in a local Houston school that was selling 58 different types of prescription medication from his locker. I'm like, well, thriving entrepreneur, this kid.
Right.
But totally used in the wrong way.
I can't even think of 5 different
I know,
prescriptions.
seriously, but then you think of interactions and what could have happened. We have kids that were lured away, talking to predators online, actual human traffickers that were trying to lure them away, but they knew enough through our programming to identify the signs and let us know what was happening. So it's being a mom. I mean, is there anything you care more about than the safety of your child? I mean,
no, absolutely
nothing,
not. Yeah.
nothing. And it changes so much when you have kids. So we really, really value this program and invest a lot in the expansion of it.
So what about the community program?
So in the community, it's similar. We are wanting to talk to people about how to keep their home safe, how to, shop safely during the holidays, how to use, protect their online information. So we go out into the animal cruelty is a huge one. We go out into the community, we partner with other groups, and we make sure that we can create programming, counterterrorism. The list really goes on that provides free information for everyday community members. And we do self-defense classes. I mean, we just want a safer, thriving, wonderful Houston.
Yeah, absolutely. So if a Realtor member wanted to maybe put on one of these programs, is that something you guys would do?
Yes, we would love it.
Well,
all they have to
great.
do is give us a call.
Yeah, well, there you guys go.
Maybe provide like bagels or something.
Okay.
Not even. I mean, it's fine.
Just some coffee?
Yeah, coffee.
All right.
That's all we need. No, really, we love it. And we can do, we built the first ever Crime Stoppers headquarters anywhere in the world. It's on Main Street. We cut the ribbon June 27th. I told my husband plan my funeral for June 28th because it literally nearly killed me. But we did it, and it's the first ever public safety building of its kind anywhere in the world, but it's for the community. So we invite people to come, use our space. We can hold 200 people in our safe community room. We do small press event. We can do whatever, but we built it for the community, so we would love for you guys to use it.
That's great. Okay, so let me just take a moment to see if we have any questions coming in from our members, and if you have any questions for Rania, you can type them into the comments. A lot of people telling you good morning this morning. Excuse me. Catherine asked, with the July 4th approaching, what can we do with neighbors using fireworks? They upset my dogs and my peace of mind.
There are a lot of, depending on what district you're in, there are a lot of council members that are taking proactive measures to make sure that fireworks are not just randomly used in neighborhoods or are designated to a specific area. I would actually recommend that you figure out who your city council member is and tap into what they're doing. I know council member Brenda Stardig, District A, which is
a realtor.
Yes, exactly. And I think her district is north of I-10. I mean, she is so proactive in what she's doing in this regard. So I really encourage people to call their local district member and talk it through.
Very good. Tanya is asking, actually my next question was how realtors can get involved. Tanya is specifically asking, does Crime Stoppers have a YPN group, a young professional group, and how can they get involved?
We just launched our young professionals group, and we're so excited. So please, 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 it's led by Carly Gray in our office. It has just been so great. And we invite you to get involved in that. You can call us at 713-521-4600 or on the website, email us. But yes, again, I moved here not knowing anything. HAR was the first place I went. Every time I'd see a house, I'd say, it's great. I'd ask the real estate agent, is this area safe? And they would always be like, well, I guess, it's safe. Yes, it's not, or we can't really comment, or both. And I understand there are limitations to what can be said, but I would love for agents to be able to say, look, here's your local, these are the numbers you can call, your local police department, the local crime, whatever. We would love to create that type of synergy where it's not a negative for people to be talking about or discussing public safety. It's a positive. And your agent is like the first person you're going to ask, usually. So we would love to get involved, work closely. Any way we can partner, we want to partner.
That's great. So for members that are tuning in, definitely use Crime Stoppers as a resource because, like you said, it's inevitable. Your buyers are going to ask that question.
I mean, I think so. I know not everybody is public safety, focused as maybe I am or people in this industry. But I think now more and more people are saying, there's just too much going on. You hear too many things, and people are asking those questions.
Like you said, being aware and being mindful, that's a positive. It's not a negative. Yeah.
People say, are you a paranoid mom? I say, well, I might be, but it doesn't mean I don't do everything that everybody else does. I just want to do it safely.
Yeah. And if you could just give your phone number one more time. You said it quickly.
713-521-4600.
Thank you. And we'll put it up on the screen for you guys as well. And then the website for people to look you up?
crime-stoppers.org.
crime-stoppers.org. And you guys are on social media as well.
Yes.
So
yeah, you can follow Crime Stoppers. You can follow me. It's the Run Your Report. And, I'm on Facebook and Twitter. I'm starting to use Twitter. Twitter is like, I don't know. I think I just missed the age group for Twitter because I'm like, I can't figure this out. But yes, follow us and get engaged. Again, it's all about what you can do today to live your best life in our city.
That's great. Now, any other ways they can get involved? You guys, I know you have a lot of events, correct?
We have a lot of events. We do a lot of public safety events, and then we have 2 big events a year, an annual gala, which I'm in the middle of planning right now, and it's so hard, but and a luncheon where we honor local Houstonians who are doing great work in public safety. But if you go on our website, you'll see we do a lot. Like we do a cyber safety campaign with Sprint, where we have 4 different classes throughout the year on cyber safety. But we do a lot on our own. Parents Guide to Social Media is a huge course that people sign up for. I mean, the stuff that is coming and evolving, the gaming platforms, the dating apps for 11-year-olds that parents have. We went to a school once, and I love this story. It was in the Fort Bend area. We were talking to 4th graders. And our social media, our safe school director, or the manager at the time, was speaking, and she's asking kids, how many of you are on Facebook? They're because that's for parents, like really. How many are on Snapchat? Woo! How many are on Instagram? Woo! How many are you on Kick? And every single one of them raised their hand. And I remember standing in the back of the room. I took a picture of it, and I'll post it. I took a picture of it. Every single one of their hands went up. And I remembered looking around the room, and the parents were like, Kick? What is it kickboxing? What is Kick? And all their kids were on it. And at the time, Kick was one of the most dangerous social media platforms around. It was so dangerous. It was where predators, like the number one for predators, you could talk, text, tip, talks, text, send videos. There was soft pornography on it. I mean, it was unbelievable. And parents had no idea. And when we talk to parents, they say it's too much to keep up with. So we teach parents what they need to know, hidden apps, etc., so that they can stay ahead of the curve. Because it is great. A lot. It's a lot.
Yeah, it is definitely a lot to keep up with. I can speak from experience.
Yes.
Alrighty, so that looks like all the questions coming in from our members. Is there anything else you wanted to share with us?
No, I mean, we love what we do. We're really committed and dedicated. It's 24 hours. We're here for the community, whether you just a regular mom, dad, business owner, homeowner, school teacher that wants to get involved, or if you've been a victim of crime. We want to be here for you. We want to support businesses and a thriving community. We always say, if you live here, if you work here, if your home is here, your investments are here, if you're raising your kids here, they go to school here, then we want you to feel personally connected to Crime Stoppers because we're protecting all of it.
Absolutely. And for our members, this is where their business is too. So use Crime Stoppers as a resource. Schedule some community classes.
Yes, we'd love it.
Especially that social media one sounds great.
We would love it. We would love it.
Well, very good. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. This has been really, really helpful.
Thank you. I'll be back next Monday.
Okay.
Just kidding. She's like, no, you're not invited back next Monday.
Actually, speaking of next Monday, we won't have a Member Focus Monday next Monday. Being that it's the July 4th week, we're not going to have a Member Focus Monday. But before you guys go, I do want to bring on Justin Bradshaw. He is the CEO of Energy Ogre. Energy Ogre sponsored Member Focus Monday and our HAR On the Move podcast. So we're going to talk to Justin for just a little bit, and please don't sign off because he's got some great referral tips for you guys. So Justin, welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for being here. So tell us a little bit about Energy Ogre before I ask you some questions about it.
Sure. Well, we formed Energy Ogre just because we all buy electricity as well. I've been in this space for over 20 years, and a lot of times we keep hearing from our friends and family, the folks that have been in the industry, who do I go with? What's a good provider? What's a good plan?
Sure.
And so we realized that there was no one out there that was actually helping. No one was really sort of aligned with the end consumer to help them make good decisions. And as technology's advanced, there's all these new bells and whistles that are out there. And I think that the level of complexity of these plans and the confusion around it, what we saw is that people would just end up in these bad outcomes.
Right. I mean, I would imagine as for our members that it can be very difficult to, because your clients, like we were talking about with crime, they ask you these questions not related to a home, which, I mean, well, it is related to the home, it's the energy, but, you know, they'll ask you these questions like a referral, right? So what should a realtor be suggesting to a client that's asking for it?
Well, I think it's tough, especially there are a number of folks that move here from other places, and so they don't even have any familiarity with how to buy electricity.
Right.
And a lot of times some of these providers, if you think about it, you know, they're coming in, big advertising budgets, well, that's coming from someplace, right? So they're making it back up. So the challenging thing is for an agent to figure it out, because everyone's trying to do the right thing for their clients. For us, that's what we are trying to accomplish, and that's one of the easiest things, I think, for any of the agents to, you know, bring us into the equation to help those customers. It's one of the important things is to understand what the use will look like in that home. The right plan is definitely a function of the use.
Right. So you mentioned some of the kind of gimmicky things, right? Like free weekends, or sign up and you get like a $200 grocery gift card, or, you know, things like that. What do you think about those? I mean, I called it gimmicky. Maybe that was the wrong thing to say, but what do you think about those?
Those are true. Those are truly gimmicky plans, right? So, you know, oftentimes if you're going to get a Nest thermostat or you're going to get a gift card, then the chances are that you're probably paying for it 3 or 4 times over in the cost of the plan, right? There's, you know, we talk about the free lunches and whatnot, that there isn't a whole lot of that that's going around. So, yeah, avoid those whenever possible. The free nights and weekends, and some of them have like solar and putting a bunch of green in there. Generally speaking, those plans are really gimmicky as well. You're going to pay very high rates in those plans relative to the competitive plans available.
What I always wonder is, how do I verify that this is the green energy? You know what I mean?
Well, the good news is so that's one of the things that happens, is that a lot of these providers, they confuse customers by thinking that, well, our solar farm here or that wind power is going directly to your house, and that's not at all how it works.
Right.
They have to buy the offsets for those, and there's a state program that works to make sure that if they're selling those, that they have to retire those allowances.
So what do you guys do? I mean, there's so many plans to pick from. What do you guys do that's maybe different? When people are trying to pick a plan.
Right. So that's the whole thing. You know, I think that there's this misconception sometimes when we first got started. It's a plan picking exercise. So that's certainly part of it as well. What we've done is our technology allows us to take every single one of those plans and put them on an apples to apples basis, which is a challenging thing to do in and of itself. But I think more importantly, you know, if I have 5,000, 3,000 different supply curves that are available, the way you use electricity in your house is unique to you. So you have one demand curve. And that's really what we're optimizing, is figuring out what you're using, how that's changing over time, and continue to monitor to make sure that you're at the right sort of overall price level for where you should be as your usage is changing.
Very good. All right, so the big one that I know our members want to hear. What do you guys have in way of a referral benefit or anything like that for realtors? Sure,
we absolutely want to work with everyone that's involved with the association. And realtors, I think we feel a special kinship with them because you're a fiduciary for your customers, and you're trying to always help them do the right thing. And we're the only ones in our space that do the exact same thing. We're a fiduciary as well. So we think there's a great alignment that way. We absolutely have a referral program. We'd love to make sure that we got everyone involved with the association involved with it. So if you want to have the agents give us a call, or they can send us an email. We'll get the plan set up and we'll send them details associated with that, or we may have something available for you here.
Yeah, that would be great. Well, thank you so much. Is there anything else you want to add?
No, we're super excited to be working with the association. You know, as I said, I think the realtor community is always so focused on trying to help the end consumers, especially with folks that are moving from different places, that we couldn't be any happier to be part of it.
Okay, well, great. Thank you. And thank you again for sponsoring
Of course.
Member Focus Monday and our HAR On the Move podcast. That's it for today's Member Focus Monday. Again, we will not be here next Monday, July 1st, but we will be back the following Monday with Daki Rizvi, our Chief Technology Officer. He's going to give us a really, really great technology update. So we'll see you then. Have a great week.